North Andover Police, in conjunction with Cam Studios and Woodridge Homes, bring you In Plain Sight. In Plain Sight is a demonstration for parents to show some indicators of problems that their child may be going through. These indicators usually come from emotional or behavioral problems at first, and you should be able to see some of these indicators within their room. It's always a good place to start. We certainly want to catch problems early, as opposed to wait until they progress into something bigger. So as we look through this room, there'll be certain things that you may have seen in your child's room, which may be okay at the time, but if there are those emotional or behavioral problems that go with it, you may want to start looking a little bit further and a little bit more in depth. It's okay for you to go through your child's room. In fact, we think that you should periodically, because you're going to find things that may be indicators of a problem. Some of these may be narcotics use, some of them may be alcohol use, or some of them may just be concerning to the child's emotional well-being. So we'll look through these things a little bit further, and we'll talk about them a little bit in depth. Another thing that you'll see within this demonstration is that there are common household items that will be around your house. Most of those items are innocent in nature, but when you start seeing them either in higher quantity or in places that they shouldn't be, you may want to start looking into it further. That also may be an indicator that your child's up to something that may be concerning to you. So here we have inside your kid's bedroom just a normal dresser. A lot of this stuff may not look like it's contraband or that there's an issue with your kid having it. Some things you may want to look into a little bit closer. Anytime you see baggies are indicative of narcotic use, distribution, and sales. A lot of times you'll see, like on this one, the corner would be ripped out. We'll have another demonstration a little bit earlier where you'll see the narcotics in that twist. Stuff that you may find that may not be yours, or your kid may have gotten from somebody else. A pill bottle. No label on the pill bottle. Make sure that you check inside that pill bottle for any type of narcotics, marijuana. This one inside has some marijuana residue, or pills. We don't see these too often anymore, old 35 millimeter film rolls, but a lot of times kids, you may see these or something close and similar to size. Pills, marijuana, any type of narcotics can fit in there. Some things that parents may not be aware of. Here's a bong to be used to smoke marijuana. You'll need a screen that fits onto a piece that fits here, but this screen filters out the marijuana. Parents may not be familiar with stuff like this. These are cheap, they cost about $1. These bongs can be made with pretty much anything. We've seen them with apples, cans, soda cans. The marijuana will sit on the screen. They'll use a lighter to light it and then smoke it through whatever apparatus that they use. Some other things on this desk that we see, just a pack of smokes. Every time you have a pack of cigarettes, you might want to look inside. A lot of people, whether it be a child or on the street, we find that we'll put certain type of drugs in there. This would be the lucky cigarette that they would call it. Any type of narcotics fit in there pretty easily. A lot of times if you see the cellophane taken off the cigarette pack, this is also used just the same as we saw the twist. To be able to put the narcotics in there, twist it, melt it, and it's nice and secure. A little bit uncommon or more uncommon that you might see hand sanitizer or any type of mouthwash. They're very high in alcohol content. So if your child has a drinking problem, can't get his hands on alcohol, he may go to this and resort to this. You can put this in some water, some ice, drink it down. This will give him extremely high and extremely dangerous. Obviously, anytime you see weapons in your kid's room, you should be concerned. It may be nothing, so I would just keep looking. If there's any type of diary or any other indications of violence, certainly be brought to the police attention or look into the school, see how he's doing in school, and that could be indicative of the problem there. As we move on, we come to the table. This table shows you quite a bit of problems. If you see a lot of these things, you should certainly be concerned right away. Some may not be known to you. 420 here, that's indicative of marijuana use. A time where they'll smoke or It's an easy way to get somebody to know that you smoke marijuana as well. Here, a lot of people take a lot of pride in their pipes, so they'll put them in socks or like this, something cushy, or an eyeglass case. It's just a regular pipe. Kids love the pipes that they buy. They like the colors, the graphics, the designs, all different kinds. You can find these in pretty much anything today. Certainly a bigger thing that we've seen lately when it comes to tobacco use and marijuana use, we'll see blunts. You can buy these blunts at the store. This is the package that they'll come in. I can actually demonstrate this for you. This is a little $2 or dollar part that you can buy at any store that sells paraphernalia. This has a small slit in it, or a small razor blade, I should say. So what the person will do is put the cigar into this thing, pull it through, which allows it to cut it nice and evenly. At that point, they'll open it up, take out all the tobacco that's in there, fill that up with marijuana, roll it again. Now they get a very big marijuana cigarette with, in this instance, a mango flavor. So we see that quite often. It's very cheap. These things only cost a couple dollars, and this, I think, was $2. So pretty cheap. Computers and social media, I'm sure most parents are aware that there's a lot of things that their kids can get involved with social media that can be a problem, whether it be social media accounts, fake social media, Facebook pages or Twitter pages. A lot of kids get into problems with that. Certainly well worth looking into. Your kid should be able to give you the password. There should be nothing that your kid has on there that he should have to keep secret from you. We see a lot of predators out there that will try to pose as a girl or a boy to get your child to come with them or meet them somewhere. So along with social media, with these computers and laptops, most of the social media apps are going to be found on your child's cell phone. As a parent, more than likely you own that child's cell phone, you pay for the bill. This certainly allows you to go through that cell phone and find out what your child's getting him or herself into. There's a lot of information on that cell phone which will determine whether or not your child's involved in any type of illegal or concerning or risky behaviors. So your child should be able to supply you with passwords to the phone, if there's one on there, or any type of social media applications that are on there. Some of those that we see are Kik, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. These change all the time. So you certainly want to look at the front of your child's phone and what applications are installed. If there's anything on that phone that becomes concerning or that you don't understand, especially with some of the language and that the kids use for text messages, or some of the applications you're not sure how they work, feel free to stop by the police department. An officer will guide you through some of the newer applications and maybe some of the newer language that kids are using. The internet is also a great place for information that keeps up-to-date information on some of the applications and the language that the child is using at the time. As you look at the computer, certainly worth looking around. Like I said, if there's behavioral, emotional problems with your child, certainly you want to start looking at things a little bit more in detail. Without looking at the table, you may have not seen this. This is a suicide note from your daughter, could be your son. There are signs that they may leave here that they want you to see. If the diary is there and you've seen emotional problems and you've seen behavioral problems, you're more than welcome to look into it. Don't worry about your kid's privacy. They may be leaving it there for a reason for you. So here what we have, and we can see a lot of problems with razor blades. Razor blades could be used for narcotics use, or a lot of kids may cut with them. Cutting is a behavioral thing. They get an emotional high, as well as they like to feel the physical pain. Something's not right in their life, and this is the way that they go about making themselves feel a little better. So anytime you see razor blades, you should definitely be aware that something could and probably is going on there. Duster, we see duster a lot. Kids who huff, they can huff this and they get a high, short high, but it's a very intense high. Most kids in their teenage, they shouldn't have this. It's no real reason for it. Nobody's cleaning their computer that often. If you see any type of duster in your child's room, there's a good indication that there's a problem. Other things that we see here that might be bigger narcotics issues Any type of babies, child, binkies, nooks, whatever you want to call them. Ecstasy and MDMA causes you to grind your teeth. A lot of kids use them as club drugs. They'll use this so they're not grinding their teeth together. Same thing with these candy necklaces. Again, the big club thing, so they're not grinding their teeth, they get something to bite on. Over here, as you start getting into heavier narcotics, this is now what your kid may just think is a chewing tobacco tin. And we've seen this on the streets as well. Inside, we have packaged narcotics. Now, these narcotics could be anything from heroin to fentanyl to cocaine, crack cocaine. We've seen kind of everything. This is normally how they're packaged, and if you can get that size in there, that's important because your child can pretty much hide this anywhere he wants to. Just this size bag could cause death. Certainly, medical attention would be needed. So when it comes to your child and you do see a problem, it's really important that you look at every part of your child's bedroom because something that small could be hidden anywhere. Any type of baggies, I'd be looking further. If you see any of the corners ripped off, I would certainly really be digging around in all the little cracks and crevices. With that though, there should be other signs. So if you see those baggies and you keep looking, there will be other signs. This, just a regular water bottle cap. A user will put water in there, a little bit of cotton. They'll take a syringe, hypodermic needle, and they'll pull that out. The cotton actually keeps it from clotting up. So when they inject it into themselves, there's no clots. It's a little bit safer, as safe as it can be anyway. Also, spoons, they'll use this to cook whatever product they have. Same idea here. You'll see the product will be placed on there, a little bit of water, normally a little bit of cotton. They'll light that up, and then they'll inject, or at least load the needle from there and then inject it. So along with narcotics use, normally you'll see scales that almost look like a calculator. This is a digital scale. Okay. You may see other scales which almost look like something that you would use in geometry class. Certainly okay to open those. Some scales, it might even be a mirror here. Just look for those razor blades. That might be a problem. Here's a grinder. Marijuana users will put some bud in there. Turn this, makes it fine, comes out on the bottom. You'll be able to smoke that through either the bong or a blunt. Just look for any type of hides that your kids may have. Certainly a cassette player nowadays would seem a little suspect. Just take a look in small places. So this synthetic marijuana, also known as spice or K2, has certain different names, I should say. This is Dead Man Walking. All this is potpourri sprayed with different types of chemicals. What happens, depending on those chemicals, could be up to hallucinations or an extreme high. The FDA has tried to control these things, but the companies change the chemical compounds so that way they can try to keep it legal. You can still see this in some convenience stores. Most convenience stores try to keep it hidden because local law enforcement, we've tried to get rid of this completely, but having a difficult time. So just another piece of furniture that may be in your kids' room, maybe shelving or something. A lot of this stuff here, you certainly want to look into a little bit closer. Kids will hide things, and there's plenty of hides, and it's certainly worth looking on the internet for them. This is just a couple. This is just a can with the top that comes off. Some more of that spice. You have some more baggies and a little bit of marijuana in there. These hides can come in just about anything nowadays. We actually couldn't get enough here to show you all the things that you can place items in. There are some websites that'll show you different ones that you should be aware of, and they're always changing, so it's certainly worth keeping up on it. This is just a globe, light globe. This comes apart, so you can certainly hide anything in there. Anything that looks out of place so that your kid's not really into, certainly worth looking into. Well, we've gone through this with the eyeglass case, and this is where you'll see here's another pipe. They said a lot of the kids will find different pipes. They like the colors or styles. With the pipe and marijuana use, you may see things like these rolling papers. Yeah, with marijuana use, you see a lot of these smoking papers you can be bought at any store. These are only 99 cents, small. Sound the same lines as the blunt. That's why you see a lot of the blunts, because they're bigger, they're a little bit thicker, and they'll last a little bit longer, but this is pretty quick. Put the marijuana in there, roll it just like a cigarette, and you're ready to smoke it. If you start seeing cough medicine or any type of cough syrup in your child's room and they don't have a cough and they haven't been sick for quite a while and you didn't buy it, there's obviously a red flag there. A lot of kids will take that and they'll put it into a sports drink or a soda. It's called robo-tripping. They'll get extremely high off of it, and it's a quick, easy high, and they can buy it at your local CVS if they need to. These are some more of the blunts that we've seen, some more baggies, which are always consistent. Anything that you don't know what it is, like this seems a little odd, just a wooden box. A lot of times there'll be a marijuana cigarette in here, or some type of vessel that they'll carry marijuana in. It's like a metal cigarette with a lighter. But certainly if you see something in your child's room, there's no reason why you shouldn't bring it to the police department and have it identified. You may be saving yourself and your child in the future. We didn't get into this too much. Straws. Straws with mirrors, cut straws. There's really no reason why a straw should be that small. Some of these things you tend to overlook, but common sense would tell you that there's really no other reason to have a straw that small. This would be used to snort cocaine or something up your nose. Pills, crushed up pills, we see that quite often. Yeah, anytime you see chemicals in your child's room, that's obviously a big red flag. Again, without getting too much into it, I would bring that to your local police department, try to determine what kind of chemical it is and what it may be used for. The glow light stick is used a lot in the club scene. A lot of times when you see a lot of glow light sticks, or actually you'll see the binky or nook again, that will light up. There's an issue with that, and it may indicate ecstasy use or MDMA. All right, so as you come into your kid's bedroom and you see posters, signs, and maybe t-shirts, you may start seeing advertising for alcohol. This may be telling you that your child or son has started drinking alcohol. Certainly something to start looking into. You may want to look around their room or clothes for signs of any type of alcohol. If there is a problem, a lot of kids will leave a lot of stuff in their clothes. They may have had a long night or had forgotten that they put something in there. It's okay to look through your kids' pockets. And you may find certain things, like a lighter, that might tell you that they may be just smoking cigarettes, or they may be doing something more. Altoids cans or any type of mints, certainly open them. Yep, because as you can see, there are some mints in here. Those are Altoids. A little bit of marijuana. Now here's other pills that are not Altoids, and they certainly will fit in there and look just the same. You'd never know. Pills are probably one of the biggest problems or issues that we're having in school. You can see how small they are, easy to hide. These can be crushed up. They can be snorted, just like we've seen with the heroin and some of the other narcotics. They can be melted down and injected. So go through your kids' clothes. So a lot of what we see in the schools today, and a lot of what we see with your children, there's usually a natural progression of things, or some type of progression. With the opioid epidemic that we've seen, it usually doesn't start off from heroin abuse. It usually starts off maybe from parties where kids start risking behavior with alcohol. They move on to pills, and then they will start crushing those pills. Their body continually asks for more, so eventually they get to that point where they may be using something like heroin. So we want to catch that at the beginning, and that's why all these signs that we've looked at and things that we've seen are certainly precursors to something that could happen that could be worse. The alcohol on the shirt, advertising like that, you want to start looking into this stuff a little bit more. And certainly when you start seeing pills around the house, make sure that your pills are safeguarded. Don't leave them in the closet near the medicine cabinet. in your bathroom. You want to make sure all that stuff's locked up. If you start seeing that stuff missing, it's certainly cause for alarm, and you may want to look into it a little bit further. A lot of what we see in the schools in North Andover, there could be a lot of pills going around. Pills are easily hidden, and they're easily passed along between kids. So if your son or child has a prescription, you should be in control of that prescription and make sure that they're using it the right way, they're not giving it to their friends, and they're getting the medication that they need. So with that being said, if you do start seeing pills or any type of these straws which show some type of use of these pills, you may want to look into it a little bit further, ask your child what's going on, and certainly look through pockets and all little crevices that you can find to find out what it is that your child's doing. So if you find that there's medications around your home or your family has medications that you need to dispose of, at the North Andover Police Station in the lobby, there's a kiosk for any type of prescription medication. There's no questions asked. It's a drop box. You can drop all your medications off there and get it out of the home. It certainly protects your child and anybody else who may have access to it.